And so many people in life are not in it to win it. They play it safe. They don't lose anything. There's no risks. No risky faith. No risky prayers. No risky giving. No risky witnessing. No stepping out. And they don't lose anything. They look respectable. They're cool. They got their life together. They got their act together. But they don't gain anything either. They have no story to tell. Hey, what's God been doing this week? There's no story. And if there's no story, there's no song. Those two go together. Great hymn writer said, this is my story, this is my song. You got a story to tell? You got a song to sing? Because you've been stepping out for God. Let me tell you something God has done. And when you've got a story, up comes a song as well.
Yes, 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 yes.
Is this you? Is this me? Oh, Master. You're back. Wow, Tom, you're back. Dick, you're back. Whoa. You could have texted and give me a heads up, Lord. Whoa. Wow. Master seems happy. We're whoa, doubled it. Whoa, lucky. Could have lost it all. Wow. VP in the kingdom. Way to go. Wow, Dick. Doubled as well. I'd have done the one-on-one myself. Whoa. Good, lucky. Woo, VP in the kingdom as well. Wow. Well, hello, Master. Oh, well, good. You're nice. Been a while. Oh, fine, thank you. Here it is, Master. You can count it all. Oh, I kept my eye on this. Nobody has laid a finger on this since you left. Here it is, Master. Master. You don't look so happy, Master. It's all him. I kept, no one touched it. I mean, he could have lost it all, Tom, right? Dick could have lost it all. And I didn't want to lose anything, Master. So here it is, Master. Master, you don't look so happy. I thought you'd be happy. I thought I'd be happy. And then listen to these words. I'm going to read them from the Message. Never forget them. First time I laid my eyes on these words. The Master was furious. That's a terrible way to live. It's criminal to live cautiously like that. If you knew I was after the best, why did you do less than the least? The least you could have done would have been to invest the sum with the bankers, where at least I would have gotten a little interest back. Whoa. Are you a good investment with the Master? Ma'am, are you a good investment? Sir, are you a good investment? When the Master comes back and we give an account, we like happy endings to stories. Everybody lives happily ever after. Sorry, the parable doesn't end with a happy ever after. Does it? So take this one and give it to the one who risked the most. Hey Tom, You did great with 5. You stepped out. You didn't stay in your box and just play and be lazy. But you stepped out. Here's one more for you. That's interesting. And he says, get rid of this play it safe who won't go out on a limb, and throw him into utter darkness. Whoa. Make you nervous? Makes me nervous. Makes me nervous. That I could stand here thinking, hey, I'm okay. Or you tell me once saved, always saved. Not going to go to hell. Yeah, I don't understand all this. I don't understand all this. But it makes me nervous. It means I can't just sort of sit back and say, well, that's really good for somebody else here. Boy, what a word that is. For my brother-in-law. For my uncle. It makes me nervous that Jesus would say, hey, you want a box? I'll give you a big one. It's called hell. In Spanish, that's the word inferno. Put that into your theology. Doesn't sit easy, does it? The parables weren't meant for us to sit comfortable. They were to slap us and kick us and wake us up. But maybe everything isn't okay. Because we don't live in an okay world, do we? We just come from the States with a Boston. I'll never forget going once in the Midwest of the States to speak in a church. And I arrived on a Saturday, and I met the wife, and she said, oh, Carl is, he was up early this morning, he's at a high school basketball game, and he's selling t-shirts for missions. And I thought, I hadn't met Carl, but I knew he was a retired banker. He had his own bank. And I thought to him, what's a retired banker up early out selling t-shirts at a high school game for missions? Doesn't quite fit the portfolio. She said, he'll be back late tonight, you'll see him tomorrow morning, we'll go to church together. I thought, oh, I can't wait to meet Carl. There must be something about this guy. Next morning I met Carl. He came downstairs, 3-piece suits, beautiful combed hair, groomed man, looked immaculate. And we went to church. He said, come on, let's get early. We went early. He was greeting the people. Got a cup of coffee and walked in. Or they'd just done a new flooring with new carpet, and the sign said, no more coffee in the sanctuary. He said, oh, that upsets me. I thought, ooh, something about this retired bank manager, a little feisty. And I watched him during the service. And this was kind of your middle of the road Bible church. They weren't all dancing, you know, swinging off the chandeliers or anything. But I watched him, and there was something wholehearted. You know, some people worship from the neck up. Some people worship from the neck down. Nothing happening up here. But wholehearted, full body worship is the whole person. And I got that sense as I watched Carl, this retired bank manager, 3-piece suit, green, grey, beautiful grey hair. And there was something about him that was different. I looked around at the other folk and I thought, there's something about this Carl. I want to find out. And as we were going back to his place, I said, Carl, something happened to you. Tell me your story. Tell me your story. He said, He said, I remember 18 months ago, it was a regular Sunday service. Where I always stood, you know, sat in my seat, got up, we were singing a hymn, and I had my usual posture. And he said, as we were singing this hymn, this strange feeling came over me, sort of just not quite feeling right. I was trying to get comfortable. And I just got more and more uncomfortable. And I couldn't kind of shake it off, and I wondered, what's going on here? And he said, the Lord spoke to me. I was standing there, hands. He said, this is a picture of your life. Holding your hands, playing it safe in life. And Carl said, no one was more surprised than me. I mean, I'd grown up in the church. I sang in the choir, I'd become an elder in the church. I owned a bank. I was, you know, a part of the civic groups, the Rotary group, charities, all kinds of things. And I was a good family man. My four kids, raised them up, been faithful to my wife. I mean, you know, look at all the boxes checked. But he said, I couldn't shake this off, that somehow what I thought was okay was not okay to the Lord. And he said, 18 months ago, I remember driving home with my wife. I didn't say anything to her. She thought something's up. We sat at the meal table. She brought out a meal. I wasn't hungry. We didn't eat. So my wife looked at me thinking, what's going on here? He said, honey, I don't think the Lord's happy with me. I don't think everything's okay. We got this great big house. It's just the two of us. Sometimes I phone you to see if you're in the house. This 3-car garage. These nice big cars. Got this nest egg for each of my 4 children. They're fine. And honey thought I was a little, you know, maybe it was the meal the night before or something. But it was more than that. It was interesting, their house was moderate, but it wasn't fancy. Not a retired bank manager's house. The cars were basic, but they weren't fancy. That Carl got his 4 kids together. He said, I want you to meet me. It's about money. He said they all showed up early. And he said to them, I got a nest egg for each of you. Yes, Dad, yes. You're not going to get it. You're okay. I don't know how much more time God has for me, but I want to invest it in the kingdom. I want to invest it in the kingdom. I've lived life thinking I'm okay, but not everything is okay. And I want to invest the rest of my life in the kingdom. And he said it changed me. And the funny thing is, when I looked at Carl in that church, he was like the happiest person in that church. He was like a 2-year-old trying to get out. There was something about him that was different. And I've met it in people who've stepped out of the box. And I'm going to ask you this morning, are you okay with what you're doing in the kingdom? With what God has given you? Is this an okay church? Hey, we're okay. Will this be an okay week? And maybe you'll come to some of it. Maybe after me this morning, none of it. But I don't feel so okay this morning. Because this message has a way of coming back. And there was a day when the Father came to the Son and said, Son, it's wonderful up here. All this beauty, all this space, all this wonder that we can have from time eternity past to time eternity future. But Son, you see that world down there, stinking, rotten, lost? I need you to step out. I need you to step out. And the Son stepped out. And God wants you and me to step out. Maybe God will shake our box. Maybe we'll lose our job. Get sick. Some problems we think it's all the enemy. But just maybe, it's God. Maybe, just maybe, God comes and shakes the church a little bit. Maybe God even starts to do a little bit of ripping. Uh-oh. And we lose. Maybe some of the stocks didn't do so well. Or the house. Or the plans for my son. But when the Son stepped out, what did it mean? Hard to rip up boxes. What did it mean for the Son? I'm going to ask you this morning, if you know God is making you feel just a little bit less comfortable than when you first came in. Your seat is not quite so. And you thought you were okay. Somebody said, how you doing? I'm okay. And now I'm maybe not quite so okay. And you can't quite shake it off. And you say, God, I'm going to take a step. I don't even quite know what it is. But this week, show me how you want me to step out for you. It may be a new step in your finances. It may be a new step in your praying. It may be a new step with gifts that God has given you. Gifts that you've buried. But God says, time to dig it up. Time to use it. Enough excuses. Maybe you've known that call in your life to step out in missions across the seas and you haven't done it. Maybe you got a nudge to go on a short-term mission trip and you said next year. Always next year. It'll be better, it'll be easier next year. No, this year. This year. And if you know this morning that God is speaking to you, I want you to come up, just write your first name on this cross. Would you do that? Who'd be the first? Come. Come. It's hard to bend down. Maybe someone can help you or write your name for them. I could have put it on a table, but there's something about kneeling, isn't there? There's something about getting down. Get a pen, just go around the other side of the cross, wherever. But don't do this casually. Because I'm praying this week God will test you. God will take you at your word. So better sit back than to step out as a casual thing or a show thing. Good to see a few men. A young lad. Maybe you go up as a couple. Anyone else, just come. Anyone else? By the way, Carl's 4 children never got their nest eggs. One of them joined us in OM, went to Iraq, held up at gunpoint. He and his buddy in their vehicle thought this might be it, and they took everything. When the father heard the news, what happened? He said, "That's okay. That is okay. He belongs to God. He belongs to God. He said, Richard, I'd have never had that attitude before. I'd have had him on the next plane out of here. Back. Come back in the box. But he said it changed everything. Changed everything. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. Go with me, still I will follow. Oh, Lord, go with me, still I will follow. Oh, Lord, go with me, still I will follow. No turning back. No turning back. Cross before me. The cross before